Never defend a contract you were never allowed to read.
Someone gets cold with you. They pull back. They make the room feel tense. And your first instinct is to explain. You want to prove you are not selfish. You want to prove you are not careless. You want to prove you are not the kind of person they are quietly accusing you of being. That is the moment the trap starts working. Because once you start proving your character, you have accepted the trial. And the trial is built around an agreement you never made. That is a covert contract, not a real agreement, not a clear request, not a boundary someone actually stated. A private rule in someone else's head, treated like a promise you broke. Watch how it forms. First, someone wants something. They want attention. They want loyalty. They want support. They want you to choose their side. They want you to notice their mood. They want you to offer help before they have to ask. Nothing strange yet. People are allowed to want things. The problem begins when the want never becomes a request. They do not say, "Can you call me tonight?" They do not say, "I need help with this." They do not say, "This matters to me. Can we make a plan?" They keep it inside. And because they keep it inside, it starts to feel more meaningful. This is the first lie of a covert contract. If I have to ask, it does not count. That line sounds deep. It sounds romantic. It sounds like loyalty. But most of the time, it is just a mind-reading test with better lighting. If someone has to guess the rule to prove they care, the rule is not intimacy. It is a trap. Then comes the second move. Hints instead of clarity. A sigh. A short answer. A delayed reply. Do whatever you want. Forget it. I guess I know where I stand. None of this gives you something clean to answer, but all of it makes you feel accused. That is why hints are so useful. A request can be accepted. A request can be refused. A request can be negotiated. A hint stays in the air. If you respond, they can say you are making it a big deal. If you do not respond, they can say you did not care enough to notice. Either way, the rule stays hidden and you stay off balance. Then comes the third move, the private rule. If they cared, they would check in. If they respected me, they would offer. If they were loyal, they would agree. If they understood me, I would not have to explain. Now the expectation has become law, but only for one person. No one discussed it. No one agreed to it. No one named the limit. It just feels obvious to the person who wrote it. And this is the part people miss. Something can feel obvious and still not be an agreement. That sentence will save you a lot of guilt. Something can feel obvious and still not be an agreement. A person can be disappointed and still be wrong about what you owed. A person can have a real need and still handle that need unfairly. A person can be hurt and still be asking you to pay a debt you never accepted. Then comes the fourth move. You fail the test. You do not call. You do not offer. You do not notice. You do not choose the side they expected. You do not play the role they quietly assigned to you. From their side, the evidence is clear. From your side, nothing happened. You did not break a promise. You did not violate a stated boundary. You did not ignore a direct request. You just failed a hidden test. That is why the guilt feels so strange. You feel accused, but you cannot find the crime. You feel responsible, but you cannot find the agreement. You feel like you owe something, but nobody can show you the terms. And if you are a decent person, you try to fix that feeling fast. So you explain. I did not mean it like that. I was busy. I did not know. Of course I care. You know I would have helped. Maybe all of that is true, but notice what happened. You are no longer asking what was agreed. You are defending who you are. That is the fifth move, punishment as proof. They get cold, and the coldness becomes evidence. They withdraw, and the withdrawal becomes evidence. They bring up old favors, and the favors become evidence. They say, "I would have done it for you." They say, "You should have known." They say, "This tells me everything." And suddenly, the issue is not a request. The issue is your character. Are you caring enough? Are you loyal enough? Are you thoughtful enough? Are you safe enough? Are you the kind of person who notices? That is where most people lose hours, because a character trial has no finish line. You can explain for an hour and still sound guilty. You can apologize and still be told you do not understand. You can offer help and still be told it only counts if it came before they had to ask. You can prove you care and still be punished for not caring correctly. So do not start there. Do not start by proving you are good. Start by finding the agreement. Not the mood, not the hint, not the disappointment. The agreement. What exactly was requested? What exactly was accepted? What exactly were the terms? If those three things exist, deal with them. Own what you agreed to. Repair what you broke. Renegotiate what no longer works. But if those three things do not exist, slow the conversation down. The sentence is simple. I can talk about a request. I cannot be guilty for invisible terms. Say it plainly. No speech, no attack, no courtroom voice. I can talk about a request. I cannot be guilty for invisible terms. The first half keeps you open. You are not saying their need is stupid. You are not saying their feelings do not matter. You are saying, put the request where both of us can see it. The second half protects you. You are not accepting guilt for a rule that was never shown to you. That is the line. Care can respond to a request. Care cannot obey a private contract. Now ask the question that makes the contract visible. What did you want me to do? Not, why are you mad? Not, how can I prove I care? What did you want me to do? If they answer, now you have something real. You can talk. You can decide. You can agree or not agree. If they say, you should already know, do not chase the insult. Say, maybe, but I am asking now. What did you want me to do? Keep bringing it back to the request. The next question is, when did we agree to that? Use this carefully, not like a weapon, like a flashlight. I understand you expected that. When did we agree to it? That question separates two things people often mix together: disappointment and obligation. Someone can be disappointed without you being guilty. Someone can wish you had done more without you having broken a deal. Someone can need something different going forward without rewriting the past. Then comes the adult move. Do you want to make that agreement now? This is where you stop fighting the invisible version and deal with the real one. If they wanted more communication, define it. If they wanted help, define it. If they wanted loyalty, define what that means. If they wanted time, define when and how much. If they wanted support, define what support actually looks like. This is not cold. This is clean. Clean agreements protect both people. They protect the person asking because the need finally has a shape. They protect the person answering because the answer can be honest. Yes. No. Not like that. Not every time. I can do this, but not that. I can agree going forward, but I will not be guilty for the version I never saw. That is how a covert contract becomes a real conversation. But sometimes it does not become a real conversation. Sometimes the person does not want clarity. They want the power of the hidden rule. You can tell because the terms keep moving. First, the problem is that you did not call. Then it is that you called too late. Then it is your tone. Then it is the fact that your tone needed correcting. Then it is that this whole conversation proves you never cared. When the terms keep moving, stop negotiating the fog. Return to the contract. What are you asking for now? What agreement do you think I broke? What do you want to agree to going forward? If they cannot name it, you cannot satisfy it. And if you cannot satisfy it, stop paying for it. This does not mean you never apologize. It means you apologize for real violations, not invisible expectations. If you made a promise and broke it, own it. If someone clearly asked and you clearly agreed, your word matters. If you accepted a role and then denied it, repair that. That is accountability. Accountability has evidence. A request, an agreement, terms. Guilt without those three things may not be accountability. It may just be pressure. And pressure gets dangerous when it dresses up like morality. This is why covert contracts can hide inside good people. They do not always look aggressive. Sometimes they look generous. Someone keeps giving, but never names the price. Someone keeps helping, but silently records the debt. Someone keeps being available, but expects unlimited access in return. Someone says, "Do not worry about it," while building the case in the background. Then one day the bill arrives, and you are shocked because you thought it was kindness. They are shocked because they thought it was obvious. That is the tragedy of the covert contract. Both people can feel wronged, but only one person knew the terms. So before the next difficult conversation, write down 3 words: request, agreement, terms. If there was a request, an agreement, and clear terms, respect them. If one is missing, do not start with an apology. Start with clarity. No hidden terms. No retroactive trials. No private contracts disguised as love. If the agreement is real, it can stand in the light. If it cannot stand in the light, do not let it run your life from the dark.